No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. And today I'm having to sit down with a woman who's been making waves, making noise, and has been surprisingly heavily requested. A lot of people wanted to see us sit down.
That's crazy.
It is?
I'm amazed.
Why?
Because I get a lot of dislike at times. Like, I do get dislike.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's part of why they want to see us sit down. Maybe they want to see, what could kind of rise up to the surface. I don't know.
True that. Yeah.
Definitely. Because, for people who don't know who I'm sitting down with right now, you initially rose to prominence on TikTok. You had some very interesting sort of podcast drama collaborations, etc. over the last couple of years. But we're going to get into all that. Okay, tell me a little bit about growing up. You were born in East LA, right?
I was born in East LA, but I got raised in Lynwood. So shout out to all my people in Lynwood, man, here representing.
So at what age did you transition over? Did you move to Lynwood?
7.
Okay.
Like around 7 years old. So I grew up on Pope Street, and I was living there for a long time. So I grew up there. I grew up in the streets. There's a history to that, though. Coming from a dysfunctional family.
Right.
I ended up in the streets. I got kicked out. Sometimes I'll leave. And I just felt like the streets were peaceful for me, where I didn't hear no bullshit in the house or shit talking. So
were you exposed to sort of street life while you lived in East LA, or this kind of happened once you got a little older and you went to Lynwood, right?
Yeah, nobody was affiliated in my household. Nobody.
Okay.
So, I don't know. I just got exposed to it. I grew up on that street Pope, and it all started there. It was just gang affiliated activities, dope selling, and I would see that growing up. And it might sound weird, but I got a little fascinated by it. And then around 14, 15, I got exposed more in junior high, being around people like that, and I like the environment.
A lot of people kind of treat that as if it's like a dirty sentiment to just say, I was fascinated by what was going on in that world. But the truth is that, I obviously am not from a street lifestyle from a super young age, but I felt the same way. I was fascinated. I wanted to do bad shit. I wanted to be around all this crazy shit. And even a lot of the real gang members that I interview, it becomes kind of clear, oh, you didn't have to end up on the streets. You were interested in it. You went out of your way to get into this type of shit.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I had a choice.
Okay.
But I just felt like the street life was, I don't know, I felt like people cared for me. At the household, there was always arguing and disputing the parents. My mom always talking shit to me. I felt like I was her scapegoat. So I always ended up in the street. Get the fuck out of here. And at first I was scared at him. I was like, fuck, she's kicking me out. Where am I going to go? So I was like, fuck it. I started walking the streets, and around the corner from my house, there was a park. And I was like, fuck. I sat there, met some people, and I want to smoke a joint.
Was that your first time smoking weed?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. You want to smoke a joint? And I'm like, fuck, I don't even know these fools, but I'm down.
Right.
Hey, we're always here posted. And I just started getting comfortable with the streets,
Definitely. And what age was that, would you say?
15.
Okay.
Yeah. That's when I started feeling like I was being attacked more by my mom. And, I don't want to make my mom sound like a horrible person. Now as an adult, I get the trauma that comes with it. But it affected me. It affects our kids, even shit that I've done, it affects my kids. But I ended up in the streets, and I just started fucking up, getting high, started smoking weed. Then I went to the next substance.
Right.
And, my mom would still give me money. I was still in school, through the whole time. I was a fucker, but I was still in school. And I would always ask my mom, can I get $5 for lunch? But it was actually for weed.
Right.
And
so when you look at that, when you first went to the park and started hanging out with all these sort of older people and everything, do you think that they genuinely they were just nice people? Or was it the kind of thing where they were thinking that you were going to be valuable to them in some way?
I felt like they cared.
Okay.
Yeah, because, all the attention, hey, woo, I'm the new shit roaming around, hey, what's up, and smiley.
Right.
And it was just like that. And
definitely. So, okay, getting into drugs, though, you started off with weed, and then what was the pace of getting into other stuff?
Crystal.
That was the bad one for you, right?
That was the downfall for me.
Really?
At first, it was just enjoying it. Let's try it. Let's rack up some lines. tried it and I liked the feeling and it was just on and off. But when I hit the streets is when I really got deep into it. It made me feel good. It made me forget about shit, like not giving a about my feelings, because believe it or not, like I was really hurt. I would always get hurt by my mom, like, get the fuck out of here. Those were always her words, or calling the police. I'm gonna call the police. And I don't know, I'd be like, fuck it, I'm gonna go buy me a fucking Dove and smoke my shit. And
was your mom an addict as well, or
no.
do you think she was just dealing with sort of mental health type stuff? Or
I think she was dealing with mental health and she wasn't happy with my dad. Yeah. So yeah, I felt like I was her scapegoat for that.
Was your dad more of a solid presence in your life? Did you have more of a consistent relationship with him?
As a little girl, I remember, like, I was his first daughter, so I was always with him. But I don't know, we're a family of 7, so it's like he gave attention to everybody. But I don't know where that came from, man. Like, I don't know. I remember us being good. And then, like, 12 years old, I started seeing a different cycle in my home, always arguing, always fighting, But as kids, we don't want to look at our parents like, oh, why are they fighting? It's my dad's fault. It's my mom's fault. I was just neutral. Like, my mom would ask me, right, isn't it your dad's fault? And I'll be like, shit, I don't know. Like, I just know my dad as my dad and I know you as my mom. And she will always blame me like, see, you're defending him. So I think a lot had to do with her not being happy with my dad. And she dealt with it. And as a Hispanic family growing up, it's like, that's all you want, is to have your mom and dad, like, oh, we're a happy family, but I would rather not grow up with both parents if it was just gonna be like that,
Yeah, like having my daughter's 4.5, and at this point, it's like I see the way that she has no doubt that mom and dad are just always going to be around, always going to be good. And I see the way that makes her strong and confident. And then when I think about what it would be like to take that away from her, or if our relationship, if we were to start, dramatically fighting all the time or whatever, I can just kind of imagine what that would do to her, to like rip away that certainty that she has about her parents. And I could just imagine how unbelievably hard that must be on a kid.
Yeah, because it's like a whole shutdown to the house, Everybody's in the room. They're like, I don't want to come out. Like, I don't know what mood are they in. Are they good? Are they bad? So it was like that for a lot of years. And, I was always in and out through my teenage years. I ran away. A lot of the times I wouldn't go back home. I was like, I'd rather be out here chilling when nobody's talking shit.
Right. Were you getting an outsized amount of attention from dudes from a young age? Because I feel like a lot of times that's what kind of draws girls into getting into trouble and whatnot.
No, not really. I had guys and shit like that, but guys was not the thing. I think it was more like getting away from the bullshit.
Right.
I just wanted to be loved, hugged, understood,
It's just that, like, I feel like there's so much risk when you're a young woman. There's just like infinite dudes that want to take advantage of you or
for sure. Yeah. Hell yeah. But then I ran into like some pimp out there in Atlantic and he would tell everybody, yeah, I ain't fucking with her. Don't fuck with her.
Really?
Like,
why?
She's cool. I don't know. He just always protected me. He's like, I like you, Smiley. He's like, you cool, man. I got you, man. I'll take care of you. And there was other times where he wasn't around and guys would try to pick me up, like way older guys, like, hey, get in the car. Because I would sleep in the street sometimes. Get in the car. And I'll be like, oh, paranoid. Like, hell no. Like, you got me up. I'm not doing that. But I always made sure if I slept in the street, I was sleeping like at a gas station or a donut shop, something that was open 24/7 where there was cameras, So, but yeah, most definitely I picked up on men that just wanted to use me. They would probably looked at me like, she's stupid. She's going to give it up. Right. She just wants love. Yeah, it came with a lot of that.
You never got into prostitution though at a young age?
No, but you know what? No, I've never said this story on my live. I usually share my
This is the good place to do some exclusives right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I was like 19 or 20, I was roaming around. I was really out there in the street. So I met this guy from Compton and he was like, why you out here like this, man? You could be making money.
Was his name Big Ski?
No.
Oh, never mind. Sorry.
No. Damn, you interviewed him? No. So, He was like, you could be making money. Why you out here struggling like this? And I'm like, really? And I'm here thinking like, ooh, I'm gonna sell fucking big shit, dope. And he's like, why don't you work the blade? And I don't know if you ever heard of Long Beach Boulevard out in Compton, Lynwood.
Yeah. That was when I moved to Southern California. That was the first stroll that I saw was on Long Beach Boulevard because I moved to Long Beach.
That's where you want to go pick up your first girl. Nah,
I didn't take part, especially at that age. I was not even thinking about it.
Nah. But yeah, and he almost brainwashed me to do it. He's like, come on, you should do it. And I'm like, fuck no. You know, I stood in the corner and I was like, there's no way I'm going to fuck this motherfucker. There's no way I'm going to be with this fool. Like, nah, I'm young. Like, I'm not doing that.
Right.
So I just got into, like pretending I was a hooker, and I'll stand by the corners. I still remember on Orchard in Long Beach, there was a Pizza Loca there, and I would stand there because it was a cut. And I'm like, this is the perfect spot to come up on all these motherfuckers thinking they're going to get pussy. I'm gonna come up on them.
So you just robbed the dudes that thought they were you.
Yeah.
How much money would you be able to get, or how would you do it?
Not much. They let me borrow a little bleaky, or, you know, sometimes I didn't even have one, and I'll be like, man, get the fuck out the car, give me your fucking money. Someone would be like, bitch, I'll fuck you up. And then when I did have that, I'll be like, click, click. All right, bitch, watch, get off the fucking car.
So you had to pop it, or you just showed it?
No, I just be like, click, click, you know, like that's it. I never popped it. You know, there's people that be scared and be like, they'll jump off the car.
Yeah.
And I did that for a bit, but then I was like, nah.
That's a scary game to be in right there.
It is, you know, that's like doing time.
Yeah.
That's fucking doing big time. So I just did that for a little bit. But yeah, going to the prostitution, I thank God I never did it, you know, because I really did think about it.
I mean, you see the girls on Soft White Underbelly, and you kind of realize like how intertwined the meth and the prostitution is, where it's they kind of need to do this shit to be able to force themselves to do something so unpleasant all day, and then they kind of have to sell a lot of pussy in order to buy more meth, and it's just this vicious cycle.
Yeah. Oh no, that wasn't my issue. I've always worked. Like, well, after from 19, I was a CNA, so I've always had money for dope, or I would just go to the homies pad. Hey, fool, can I get a hit? Hey, you got some shit? You know, I always got some shit. That was never an issue.
Definitely. Because when it comes to meth, I have told the story a million times, but when I was, I don't know, 30 or something, I had this girl that I used to hang out with, this porn star chick or ex-porn star, and we would hang out and we would do Xans and shit. Like, that was pretty much really like the only drug that we did. We did GHB a little bit, but mostly we would just do Xans and smoke weed and shit. And then one night we were at a party and she said that she was going to go get some Coke, and then she came back and she had some fucking rocks in her hand. And I'm like, what are those? And she didn't, I don't even know if she told me what they were, but she was like, it's super fun and it makes sex really, really good. And I was like, you know, kind of drunk already. I'm like, let's go. Yeah. And we did it. That definitely was meth. And then
like, bing.
Yeah. And then we ended up spending the rest of the night, like, and then the next night as well, just snorting this shit. And then just smoking hell. And just fucking for like absurd lengths of time. I won't even get into it. But it was definitely like, you know, okay, after that second night, I go home, I go to bed, I wake up, it's raining. I'm just like so depressed. Like I felt so shitty, so low. And at that moment, I realized like, oh, this is what happens. People get up for a day or two, and then they feel so bad that they keep doing it in order to avoid that feeling. And luckily, I had like the strength of mind, and being 30 years old that I was, which is pathetic to be 30 doing meth for the first time, but you know, I realized like, oh, okay, I need to like absolutely not ever do this again. But it was weird having that like little window into like, if I was a less strong person, or if I was 10 years younger and I didn't have the same resolve, that I felt like I could have easily seen how people just end up spending the rest of their life kind of on and off on that.
And I think sometimes it's the lifestyle you live and what you're living in that you'll get stuck on that shit. Yeah. And I think that's why I kept on doing it. You know what I'm saying? Because I was just in the streets. I was like, man, my mom don't love me. Because I did feel for one point like, damn, she don't fucking love me. Right. Moms don't fucking do that. You know? I get it. You tell your kid, man, get the fuck out. But you're like, shit, like, where you at? Are you going to come back? You know?
Yeah. My parents definitely kicked me out a few times. But like, they were trying to get me back like right away. Yeah, because
I do that to my fucking 19-year-old. Like, man, get the fuck out. If you ain't gonna listen to me, get the fuck out.
You just want to show them like how bad the repercussions could be.
Exactly, you know. But I want them back. But yeah, I think that's why I got stuck with that shit, and I was around people that did it, and that fucked me up. Because at first I was enjoying it. You know, there's levels to it. You're enjoying it. Now you're needing it. Now you're craving it. Now it's fucking with you. Now you look different. And
Right.
bitch, now you lost it all.
Yeah.
Now what you finna do, bitch? You gonna stick with it or you gonna get fucking right, you know? And obviously I didn't get right. I kept on using because it was hard to fucking let go.
Yeah.
You know, like then withdrawals are fucking bad. So
yeah.
I ended up like slowly giving up on it like in 2018, 2019.
Uh-huh.
I was at a shelter and I was in Glendale. I was at a shelter there and I've never been in an area like that. All I know is Lynwood, Compton, Watts, Downey. That's all I know.
And how'd you end up in Glendale? Because for people who don't know, Glendale, like largely Armenian area, a little bit nicer for sure, not as grimy as a lot of places by South Central and shit.
Exactly. Through shelters.
Okay.
Through shelters, I had to call 211. You know, so for any lady that's going through shit, 211 is where you call. And
so it's like 911, but like for people who just need like assistance. And,
exactly. For anything, like from Christmas gifts for your kids, food, electricity, bills, anything, you know, to help the low income. So they gave me a number to Canoga Park. That was a 30-day shelter. I made it's like you're applying applications to get a job, so you have to apply for shelters. Yeah,
because 30 days is like, you know, it's cool. Like you can start to maybe get on your feet a little bit, but even 30 days to even just get a job is going to be tough. So it's like, that's kind of unrealistic sounding to like have a place to stay for 30 days and to be able to come out of that with a job and a new apartment and stuff. That's so much to do in 30 days, especially if you have kids.
Exactly. 3 kids. I don't have a job. I was still fucking up. So I felt like I was in shit. I felt like this little, like, fuck, I ain't shit. I ain't gonna make it. I'm a piece of shit. So anyways, my last day on that shelter, they were like, you have one more day, you know? Tomorrow's your last day. The following day, I get called from that shelter in Glendale. Oh, we accepted you, blah, blah, blah. And it was a 2-year shelter. You were able to stay there for 2 years.
Wow.
And I hated it. I hated it because everybody was so fucking nice in Glendale. Hi. Bitch, what the fuck you happy for? Like, what are you smiling about?
Right.
You know? But because I wasn't happy, and I'm so used to being around like the gutter, the destructive area that everybody's down there trying to survive, you know, that when I seen happy people, I hated it. But my oldest will always tell me, Mom, please, let's not leave. Please, let's stay here, Mom, please. And then that played in my head like, okay, do it for your kids. Do it for your kids, man. And I did it for them. And I stood there. And ever since then, I've been trying to like better myself as a person because I ain't perfect. You know, I still have little fuck ups, like my little fucked up ways. And I just been transitioning. Now I left there. I live in an apartment and just trying to better myself every day, you know?
Definitely. Yeah. Because, okay, describe what being in the shelter is like. Because I remember when I was like 15, I had a job at an old folks home in the city that I grew up in. And at a certain point, we had to go help out at a battered women's shelter. And it was really just basically like a regular apartment complex with like kind of, it was actually more like a hotel style building where they would just have like single rooms for different women who were staying there. And I remember actually going into some of the rooms and like some of the women would live in like the most disgusting situations I ever seen, like super fucking dirty ass rooms and stuff. But I mean, is that from your experience, was that basically what it is? It's just like they'll give you a room for you and your kids to be able to spend some time in, and you have to end up spending a lot of time around the other people in the building?
It depends on shelters. I learned, because I went through a lot of shelters. Those were not my only shelters. Okay. It depends where you're at. Like I was in Skid Row and Midnight Mission.
Right. Just super.
Yeah. You know, you walk out that shelter, people are shooting up. People, you know, it's all bad. I just stood there one day and I just decided to stay in my car. But I guess it depends on the area. Glendale was a whole apartment complex. They're like, I thought I was going to share rooms because there was other shelters where you share one room and there's like 5 girls in there. This shelter was like, this is your own apartment. And I was like, what? She like, this is you right here. Like, how many more people? Just you.
Yeah, if they give you 2 years, I mean, that's a lot of time to be able to kind of get your shit together and be able to have some money saved by the time you got to leave and everything and be able to get it together, right? Yes, but like I said, I guess it depends on the person because there's people that just go to the shelter, they don't have nowhere to live, but they do have a job. They ain't addicts, they ain't going through shit. I came with a whole fucking package. And we had an on-site therapist and we would do therapy with her, but that helped me at least let all that poison I had out, all the
fucking bullshit I wanted to like just disclose. They wanted to kick me out because I told them I was an addict. They were like, no, this is a DV shelter. You don't belong here. I had to beg, please.
Did you kind of lie when you were doing the application?
Well, I lied about me being home. I mean, being in a DV at that moment. But they told me, what kind of DV are you going through? And I just remember my past. And I told them the story, and they were like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have been through DV, but not at that moment. But I had to lie. I was like, it's either back to the streets or let's try to make it, man. There's other bitches that be in shelters that live with their families, and they just go in and sign in and leave, you know?
Definitely.
So anyways, it took me a while, like 8 months for me to get a job, eight months to let everything out, to feel like a little better about myself. And then I had a job. I got a job and started saving my money.
Definitely.
And they helped me get an apartment.
And what year was that?
In 2020.
Okay. So this is when you're already clean.
Yeah, I was already clean.
Because so. I saw something where you were talking about the challenge of getting clean when you were pregnant.
Oh yeah, that was in 2012.
Okay, so what was that like though? Like you know, kind of in your head that you're not fully ready to get clean yet, but you were able to stop for a period of time because you were pregnant?
I knew I wanted to get clean, but it's not easy to say I'm gonna stop. Like, you're used to it, your body wants it and needs it. So I fucked up in 2012. I got high with my second pregnancy.
Okay.
I got high till I was like probably 5 months. It was not like a everyday thing. It was here and there, but I still fucked up. I got high, you know. And I remember back in the days, me and my girls would be like, man, we'll fuck this bitch up. We're going to check her if she's getting high while she's pregnant, you know? That's why they say never and never speak down on nobody, because, bitch, you're going to go through it, or somebody in your family's going to go through it, you know? Don't judge.
How did that make you feel, though,
felt low.
Doing meth while you're pregnant? And, like, were you able to, like, identify it? Like, once you had your kid, are you, like, looking at the kid just, like, wondering every day? Like, are you going to see evidence of the symptoms or whatever?
Yeah. He's kind of, like, jumpy and all that, and I'll be like, damn, I wonder if it's because of that.
Right.
You know? But he's right in the mind. He's just jumpy. He's ADHD.
Okay.
Know? But
because you see that conversation constantly now with, like, Blueface's kid with Krishan and shit, where, like, everybody wants to just kind of point it out, like, as soon as the kid's like 6 months, and you can start to spot a little bit of a difference.
No, you can't spot it with my kid unless you see him, like, act up. Sometimes you'll be like, fool, chill. You know, but it's not like that. Thank God, you know. But I felt guilty for a long time. I felt fucked up. But
what was your version of smoking meth, though? Like, even when you're trying to kind of get your life together, is it like you're just smoking meth and then you're just kind of roaming the streets, or you smoking meth and, like, able to sort of live like a normal life?
Yeah, I was living a normal life in the beginning.
It's just like,
I was still going to work.
That's your version of drinking a cup of coffee to get through the day?
Yeah. I will hit it like every morning. Okay, I'm good. All right, take the kid to the daycare, go to fucking work.
And you could do it and then just go through your whole day and not have to do it more throughout the day, or you have to keep it on? I would do it
once I get out of work.
Okay. So you could go like the 8 hours.
The whole 8 hours on, because I'll take a good blast. A good ass blast. Like, bitch, you gotta last these whole 8 hours, bitch, because you still gotta go be a mom.
Yeah.
You know? But and then I'll get out of work and just get on one, and I'll be stuck in the restroom. You know, I'll be a mother to my son, but I was still stuck in the restroom. And I didn't realize that afterwards till I started sobering up, and I started talking about it in my groups and my rehab. And I was like, fuck.
Is it hard to be a decent mom when you're on meth?
Not really. Like, you're just like on a good one, you know, I'm talking about me. I would be on a good one. I see my little boy looking at me like, what's wrong with my mom? He would look at me up like, this bitch acting weird, you know? You
feel like he could tell the difference?
Oh, yeah.
Even then when he was tiny?
Even when I was in the restroom and sitting on the toilet, like, Mommy, are you smoking? I'm like, I open the door, smoke will come out, go over there, go. Damn. You know, they see that. They can definitely tell when you're sober and when you're just acting different.
Yeah.
But yeah, and my little ones didn't really observe that because they were babies, but my oldest was the one that was kind of affected by it. Right.
Yeah. Like, I tell my kid that cigarettes are bad, and she's yet to, like, catch me with a joint or a cigarette or anything. And I'm just so dreading the day that becomes like a real thing for me. But even, like, obviously it's not even close, but like with weed, it's like I feel like I see how this is just not the optimal thing for me parenting wise. Like this just does not make me a great parent. So it's like, even though I my whole life I was like smoking throughout the day, and now it's like, no, like you can smoke once the kid goes to bed.
Yeah.
But even that, you know, it's like, it's such a shitty feeling of like realizing you're kind of compromising being the best parent that you can be because of this shit that you've got as part of your lifestyle.
Yeah, hell yeah. So when I caught my son getting high, I was like, what the fuck? Why are you getting high? And what was the first shit?
At what age?
Like 13.
Damn. And smoking weed?
Weed.
Okay, you're not talking about meth. Okay,
no, weed.
Got it.
And he was like, well, what about you when you used to kick it in the hood and be smoking blunts with your homies? Motherfucker. And I'm like, yeah, but that's what I'm telling you. I lived a whole different life, and I always tell him I lived a whole different life. You got me. We're always gonna be here. I'm always gonna have your back.
Right.
But till this day, he still smokes weed, but not like he used to. Little by little, he's letting go and letting go.
How old is he now?
He's 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's he doing? Like, what's his life?
Right now, he just got a job at a smoke shop. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
That should be good for his weed consumption.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said too. I was like, no excuse not to fucking roll it up.
Yeah. But I mean, it's probably, I don't know how much like weed is like a California thing at this point, but it would be hard for a lot of people out in the rest of the world or the rest of the country to understand how much being involved in the marijuana industry is just like a fucking normal way of life out here. It's just like probably it's more likely that you get a job doing something like that than working fast food, realistically, you know? Yeah. Okay, but so were you ever formally from a hood or a gang or anything? You never went down that road? Never
wanted to be from a hood.
Was it tempting, or was anybody expecting you to do that at a certain point?
It was tempting at one point because I grew up on, on that side, and I grew up like right where a hood was at, young crowd, and I started hanging out with them, and then there was a one point where I felt like I want to be part of it now. Like I'm chilling with y'all motherfuckers, and they were like, yeah, meet us up right here. We're gonna jump you in because there's no girls in that hood, and I was like, yeah, we'll be from there, woo. And then they left us hanging, me and my homegirl. And then they were laughing at us like, y'all swear we were going to jump girls in the hood. And then I was like, damn, was I really thinking about being from a hood? But I don't know, I think it was just because I was around them every day. I wanted to be from there.
Right.
But other than that, I've been asked to be from other hoods. I've always been in the street, and I've always said no. No, because I'm very social. I like to be everywhere. I don't like to be like, hey, fool, you can't be here. I'm very like, I like to be everywhere. So I thank God I never got jumped in from no hood.
I mean, that's like one less thing for you to escape from as you kind of try to change your life, right?
Yeah.
Like that's just one less thing dragging you down. That's
exactly.
Negative shit that you...
But I still was out there doing active shit. I was out there, doing my shit, but I never was from a hood. Never retaliated with other people and shit like that.
If you had joined that hood, do you feel like you would have had more people like kind of having your back, and like would you have felt more protected in certain situations, or?
Nah. I think I would have been busted.
Right.
Everybody would have been like, blame it on her.
Especially if you just join like a small neighborhood gang and then you're really moving around the city. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like in a lot of situations, the neighborhood that you're from, unless you're from like a very significant neighborhood, it's not really going to matter. Like, what are you going to do? Nobody gives a shit when you're 20 or 30 minute drive away from where you were hanging out at.
Exactly. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So, okay, when did you formally completely stop doing meth in 2018, 2019, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
And 2019, 2020, I relapsed.
Okay.
I lost my kids in 2019.
And what was that story? You just got into like a fight, right?
I got into a fight.
What was it?
A neighbor.
Break this down?
Break
down the fight?
Oh, okay. So this bitch was a meth addict. I didn't know that. And I didn't realize that till afterwards. So she kept on fucking with us. She started thinking I was being with her girlfriend. Yeah, bitch, you want to fuck my girl? I'll come back from work. She was literally my neighbor. So she'll open the door and she'll be like, fuck you, bitch. And I was like, why is this happening to me when I just got an apartment? I'm doing good. I just got me a fucking truck. I'm trying to do right, and now the devil's trying to fucking bring me down, and he brought me down. And I allowed her to disrespect me for a cool little minute. I was ignoring her. I'm like, I don't want to be how I used to be. And I reacted to it, and she went to the police station, and I went down for assault with a deadly weapon. And I was in jail for like 20 something days.
Wait, so what did you do with her?
Like I don't want to get into details, but like
you didn't shoot her.
No, hell no, no. Ain't nobody worth me doing time like that.
Yeah.
But you know, like I'm pretty sure she learned the fucking lesson. Don't fuck with nobody's kids. And I went to jail. They came knocking on my door, Susanna, and I'm like, yes. Can we talk to you? And then they arrest me. Oh, you're going to jail for this, this, and that. Told them like, no, like I don't know what the fuck she's talking about. She's crazy. She's a tweaker. They let me go. 2 weeks later, they come again, and they arrest me and they take me in. So I left my teenager with my kids, and when I got the same day I got out, the same day the social workers got them. I called my son. They're like, we're at the hospital with the workers. And that was that.
So they came when you weren't even there. You had already been arrested.
Yeah.
And then what do? They take your kids and just put them in like a orphanage or like put them with a different family? They
couldn't find a family for them because I told her like I want them to be together. Don't separate my kids. So they couldn't find a home. So they put them in not an orphanage, like a group home where they put all the kids at. And then they gave the kids to my mom, but because me and my mom never had a good relationship, she made it hard on me. I said, put them in foster home. So they kept the 2 little ones together, and then they separated the oldest.
But so this is what they do if a single parent just gets arrested? This is like what automatically happens to their kids if there's not another parent to...
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they'll pick them up because, 13 years old, you're not, or 14, he was like around 14. And that's not a legal age for him to take care of kids.
Right. But so you're like not, you got arrested and you got in a fight, but doesn't mean that you necessarily are, living like a super fucked up life. Like anybody could get in a fight, right? Like it's just kind of freaking me out to think like, oh, so if I get in a random fight and I'm a single parent, then my kids get taken away until it's resolved, I guess.
So it's child endangerment for you fighting in front of your kids. And they'll really investigate. They'll try to find anything in your home. Oh, this place is not livable. This place is this. Her kids were left alone. They'll find anything,
Really?
And they added a couple of things. Plus, they added that because I worked only 7 hours. So to them, that's not a full-time job. Oh, we don't feel like she's capable of taking care of her kids.
7 hours? So you work like 1 day a week or something?
No. I worked Monday through Friday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Monday through Friday.
7 hours per day?
Per day, yeah.
Oh, okay. So but it's not technically 40 hours. Okay.
Yeah. So they look at it like that. She lives in a program. Because even though it's my apartment, it's still considered like a low-income program. How about if she loses a place? Is she going to be able to afford her rent? And they go on so on and find any little thing to bring you down. The system's fucked up and corrupt, you know? But they were gone for 14 months. So in 2020, when COVID hit, they shut everything down, remember?
Yeah.
They shut down visits. They shut down everything. I wasn't working. I started feeling depressed. I started feeling like, oh my God, I want to see my kids. And I'll cry. And then...
But you're out at this point. Because how long did you actually end up doing in jail?
Oh, only like 20 something days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've never done time like that.
But then they still had your kid for like an extra year after that.
Yeah, because in order for me to get my kids back, I had to relocate. And I'm like, but I'm not even the fucking problem. You
had to relocate so you wouldn't be near this neighbor?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I didn't find another place in the valley till like 14 months after.
Okay.
Like, so, and that's when I relapsed.
Really? And were they drug testing you or anything?
They were. But because COVID was shut down, I didn't have to go test. Okay. Everything was shut down. But I wasn't, I was just fooling myself. I was trying to kill my pain, like trying to like just cover it up. I was really depressed. Like without my kids, I felt, I don't know. That's all I've had, my kids. Oh, yeah. I want to cry. I'm a big crybaby.
No, I feel for it because it's like I realized through watching some other stuff of you and even seeing you like argue with certain people, like how bad the stigma of having your kids taken away from you is, where like people will like constantly try to use this against you. It's like the ultimate thing that you could say about a woman. And it's like people are just going to latch onto that. Was that your experience too, where it's like all of a sudden people like are just looking at you way differently as a result of that?
Yeah, I get a lot of hate all the time. You're a bad mom. You're a shitty mom. You're kicking your kid out. Oh, you argue with your kids. Why are you yelling at your kids? But we got to remember, these are gossip pages that watch you on a fucking daily, and that's their job, to fucking bash you. So people could disrespect you, so people could go up to you and fuck you up or react to you. But I know that I'm an amazing mom. I never gave up on my kids, regardless of fucking any struggle, from I'm that type of bitch. Like I started from the bottom, now I'm here, and I might not be up here, you know. But I'm leveled. I'm good. And
it's just crazy how different of a standard we judge women as opposed to men, because it's like you could find out that some guy who's got 5 kids drinks and smokes and does coke and gets fucked up all the time or whatever, and it's like it's not that shocking for people, but when they find out that a mom is doing drugs, never mind her kids taken away, it's just like a gut reaction from people that they just think that she's the spawn of Satan.
Yeah, because you're the mom, you carried them, you're supposed to be caring, you're supposed to do extra, but people don't know your fucking life and what you've been through and why you do the things you do.
Right.
Shit happens, you know? And I'm correcting every mistake I've made in my life to make it better. And as long as my kids see it, that's all that fucking matters, you know? And yeah, I get a lot of hate for that. People screen record when my oldest is disrespectful, and I'm that type like, you got me fucked up, my boy. You better fucking chill out. You don't like it? Get the fuck out my house. Boom, that's a clip.
Right.
Lynwood kicking her son out like, motherfucker, this motherfucker's 20. 20, he's not a kid.
Yeah.
You know?
Definitely.
So I get a lot of hate for that. I get a lot of hate because I live in a program, the low income program. Oh, you're a fucking welfare bitch. You ain't shit. You're this, you're that. And at first I used to be like, I don't want to go on camera. But now I'm like, man, y'all motherfuckers. Y'all don't like me, block me. Don't look at me, you know?
That's real.
So.
No, but I think that's probably why a lot of people are so tapped in with you too, is that they see you as being just like real and kind of person that doesn't really, you don't see that much on the internet who's willing to share all their failings and everything.
And you know why? Because it was an accident. And I know a lot of people that probably are watching you have heard it because I have a big platform and they know, but then you have your side that you're going to hear this side of me. But, oh, I forgot what I was going to say. I got nervous. I'm sorry. I forgot.
No, you were about to say how a lot of people already know these things about you. But
so this was an accident, okay? My daughter did a TikTok video of her saying, Mommy, I wish our visits would last longer.
And she was how old at that time?
5.
She was 5. And she made a TikTok?
She made a TikTok.
She didn't have a TikTok, right? She took your phone?
No, I didn't have a TikTok. She told me about TikTok. We went on a hockey game and I went on our visits. Mom, have you seen my video? And I'm like, what video? TikTok. And I'm like, what the fuck is TikTok? So she made a video. I looked at it. I was like, oh, fuck, man, it hurt me, you know? And I'm like, you could reply to this shit?
She's 5 and she knows how to use a phone and make a TikTok.
Yes.
My kid is 4.5. She doesn't even really, she knows I have a phone, but she's never really been able to use it.
Yeah. Well, they had tablets where they were at. So I guess they had, you know, probably telling the kids like, here, shut the fuck up, go use, you know?
Go make $5 this month on TikTok,
So I replied to that and I was scared because I'm like, fuck, I'm really going to say I lost my kids to the system. I'm like, fuck it.
Really?
Don't give a fuck. And then I just started making videos and people related to it. I shared my court dates. I grew a platform. Girls were like, how did you do it? Do you think I can get my kids back? I haven't seen my kids in a year. Help me. What? And I was like, okay, what better fucking opportunity to fucking share your story that other females are fucking scared about or embarrassed about because they're scared of being shamed or being pointed at.
Right. But that initial TikTok that your kid made, though, did that like do well and get?
No.
Oh, okay. I was thinking it was like a viral thing.
No, it wasn't.
But you saw a little bit of the potential there, and you were like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna start sharing my story on this platform."
Yeah.
When did it start to kind of catch on? Do you feel like some of the TikToks started to go viral sort of soon?
I think after like 7 months when they started really seeing like visits with my kids, how my kids will cry for me. Like my daughter will hug me tight. Like, I don't want to, don't leave me. Like, and I shared that on my live and people will be like, what the like, I went through that. Like, how do you manage to stay strong? I'm like, you have to. You want your kids back? Have a good relationship with them. Talk to them. This is temporary. I'm sorry we're going through this. Just know that I didn't give up on you. They snatched you guys up for this reason. Woo, woo, woo. But, and I held it down and I got my fucking kids back and it was hard.
When they were taken away, did you have the feeling of that they were being taken care of reasonably well by the system, or did it feel like, oh, like they're dealing with all kinds of weird mental abuse and whatnot? Like I can't even imagine like what it felt like that experience was like for them.
I felt financially they were well taken care of by my mom because my mom had them first.
Oh, okay.
But emotionally, mentally, I know they were being with. My kids would tell me everything.
I mean, having your mom every day until you're 10 or 12 or whatever, and then not having her has got to be the most mind-blowing thing for a kid, especially when they know that you're still in the house, you're still around the corner, or you're still a couple miles away, and that they can't just see you every day. I mean, that must be insane.
Oh man, that was fucked up. I would be late because I was on a bike, and then your visit's at, let's just say 10 a.m. Okay, cool. I'll get up and I'm on the bike, and I'm coming from in the valley, the valley, getting on the trains, on the bike. I'm getting there all sweaty. I'm fucking 10 minutes late. Well, you can't see them because you're late. I go, Mom, it's only 10. I only went over 5. Those are the rules.
Your mom was being the cop in the situation.
Yeah, she made it so hard for me. Like,
really?
Yeah, she did. And that's why I had requested, you know what, just move them to a foster home where I'm not going to have no contact with her. And it hurt me and it broke me. But, hey, it was the best thing I did. And ever since then, I just detached from her.
Really? Yeah. Wow. So you had to get a new apartment in order to get them back.
Yeah.
That was just the main thing.
That was the main thing.
And then they started drug testing you again at a certain point too?
They did in the beginning. I still had an open case for like 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah. But I still wanted it open. I was begging them to still keep it open because I felt like when I got my kids back, it was like, oh, the social worker say you can't tell me nothing. The social worker say you can't force me to do this.
Really?
Yeah. The social worker, they said that if you scream at me, I could call them. And I said, well, cool. Let's call them together.
Because we're talking about kids like they're fucking angels, but the reality is they're like teenagers, right? And so they're going to use whatever they can against you. And they probably kind of liked having that freedom to a certain extent, right?
Yeah. And then they come back with behavioral issues, you know? They feel like they're doing you a favor. We're going to remove the kids so that she could get her shit right, control her anger, this. But you put them in homes where there was DV involved. They will drink. And, you know, my daughter told me all kind of shit that was going on. When they were living with my mom, my sister got her ass beat by her man. The cops came, Mom, the cops came. There was a fight in the house. And I'm like, and you took my kids away because I was protecting my family?
Wow.
You know, but it was what it was, and I thugged it out, and I had to do what I had to do to get them back, and they're with me still.
For sure. Was that a struggle to get off meth after that, though? Or like?
Okay, so I got off of it. I was like, what am I doing? Why the fuck am I relapsing? Like, I fucked up. Why am I smoking dope? Once you start getting hooked again, that's it. It's hard to come out. I'm like, you're going to lose everything again, and I just stopped.
Damn.
I stopped. I blocked the dope dealer, and
Definitely. Yeah. Was the hardest part like the physical, like going through that like sickness, or was it just mentally wrapping your head around not having that? No,
it was easy for me in 2020 when I was really recovering from using on a daily. That f***ed with me. I was like, oh, come on, I want to get high. And my son was like, what? Why are you in a bad mood? You can't get high. My oldest.
Just joking on you? What the fuck?
What? You're mad because you can't smoke in the shelter? And I'm like, fuck, that's sad, you know? Wow. I laugh about it now too, but at that moment, I was like, that's fucked up. This young kid's telling, he knows my withdrawals, he knows my feeling, he knows, he's been observing this shit for years, you know? Damn. But it was hard, but I did it, you know?
Definitely. So your kids are what age right now? The boy's 20?
My oldest is 20, the middle child is 13, and my daughter's going to be 12 in July.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you feel like your newfound internet fame and everything, is that stressful to them? Is that like a different type of, you know, overexposure, or a different type of stress that they have to deal with?
My oldest hates it.
Really?
That they screen record all the bullshit. They never record the good shit. Like, so he's like, don't put me on the camera unless he comes in here and like trolling and shit like that. But the little ones, they fuck around a lot. They'll just come in here and just fuck around in front of my camera, you know, like, Mom, I'm hungry. And they'll screen record that, and they know that they're going to screen record that, but they like that shit. I'm like, shut up, Gilbert. But Mom, you haven't fed me in 5 hours. Like, I swear, and they'll get that down, and they're like, look, Lynwood doesn't feed her kids. But that's what we do, though. We troll. Shut the fuck up. And we're just like that. You know, I know a lot of families grow up with like, okay, son, go to your room. Not me. I'm very open with my kids. We around and be like, what, boo? Like, shut up. Right. You know, but I also, when it comes down to disciplining them, I put my foot down. Like,
have you ever really thought about not putting your kids in your content like that? Because like, I know for me and my girl, when we had a kid, for like the first 2 years, we would just post her on our stories and whatnot all the time. And then like the first time that we really had like a wave of bad press, which was basically the time period where she shot porn with another dude or whatever, that just changed everything, where we just started to see like a lot of negative comments and just people basically like shitting on us. And the number one thing that really fucked it up with us was there's this random fucking dude on Twitter who's basically just like a dirtbag who just posts on Twitter all day trying to make a living. And he basically like took a screenshot from my girl's mom account, and there was a TikTok she had made from Halloween where we all got dressed up like Ernie and Bert, and there was one quick clip where she's wearing the face paint and she's breastfeeding the kid, and she had it in this TikTok, and this one guy screenshotted it and basically wrote that she was selling breastfeeding content as porn on her OnlyFans, which is obviously not true and not something you would be allowed to do on OnlyFans in the first place. They would absolutely delete your account permanently if you actually did that. But this dude said that. It was up. It probably got like 50,000 likes or something like that. And then
he was like, I ate.
Right. Well, I mean, but then even, I know he probably made like $100 off that tweet or whatever. It's just true. Twitter has like the worst monetization imaginable. But even that, like there's a dude, Destiny, who we do content with sometimes, who's like a streamer or whatever. And he like, we talked about it, and partway through his eyes kind of light up, and I realized like, oh, he thought that was real. Like he saw that tweet and he believed it, you know, and like the tweet ended up getting deleted for misinformation or whatever, but still like just that one experience, we were just like, all right, we're not posting her anymore. And we've blanked her face out ever since. Yeah. I don't know.
No, No, I would have did the same thing if I was in that situation, but I feel like my platform grew because of my situation with my kids, and they've always been part of my page. You know, I'm just trying to switch up the game a little bit on my page. I'm trying to like, not to discipline on camera no more. I'll put it on mute. Like, hey man, guys, come on, man, don't f this shit up, because this is like our bread maker. Like this is, we're trying to level up in things, you know? So we're trying to like change shit around. But no, my daughter actually wants to do, she's been doing TikTok. She has a 15K page, but she deleted all her fucking content.
Why'd she do that?
Because she's like, oh, people have been saying stuff on the page about you, and I don't want that. And then they talk about me. But I was like, nah, f that shit, because by the time you hit, 14 next year? No, 13 next year, you're able to go live. She does makeup.
So you can have a TikTok if you're under 13, but then at 13 is when you can go live?
Yeah, you could go live at 13. Oh. Yeah, I think you have to be 13. Okay. Because I see other content creators at 13 doing lives and stuff like that. But she likes to do makeup. And I'm like, don't give up on that shit. Do it again, mama. Do it again. I'm here to support you. Oh, but they're going to talk about me. She's a little bit more insecure. Me, I don't give a f. But, you know, I think that's our platform. Me and my family, people want to see how we fucking were from the beginning, living in the car, to shelters, through all the destructive shit, and where I'm at now, you know? And one of my caseworkers told me, you know, because I wasn't happy, I was like, I don't want to be here. And she's like, let me tell you something in life. You might not be where you want to be at, but that doesn't mean you can't get where the fuck you want to get at. So keep on fucking pushing and thriving. Right. So I keep that shit in my head, like, all right, this is not where it stops. Keep on going, bitch. Keep on going. And that's what we do every day.
No, definitely. I mean, like, that's part of being a content creator, is like, being able to read a bunch of comments telling you you're a piece of shit and telling you that everything is wrong with you, and being able to like not have that affect you for the rest of the day. Yeah. But man, when it comes to little kids, like it just feels like their brain is so not set up to take that kind of stuff in, and like, damn, that's just like a scary thing. Like I feel like human beings in general are just not meant to read hundreds of random people's opinions about them. And I'm totally used to it. But that is just like, when I think, okay, like I know this, like, or I don't know, but I was watching an interview with this like skateboard filmer the other day, used to be a pro, and he just like, he's cut off. He doesn't have Instagram. He doesn't know what anybody thinks about him. He's living his life day to day, doing stuff. And he just doesn't have that thing of just like reading what hundreds of people think about him every day. And I was watching him talk about it, and I'm just feeling jealous, just being like, bro, that must be amazing, because that's what it was like in the 90s. That's what it was like before all this internet shit. And like, on one hand, I have that to thank. I have the internet to thank for like basically everything I've ever accomplished for myself my entire life. But then at the same time, like, God, it would be nice to just have no idea what people were saying about you.
And that's my son's mentality, the oldest. Yeah. And he'll come up to me, or when I end my life, why the fuck do you read them stupid ass comments? You don't know how to just put comments off and just do your thing.
But especially when you're live. Like, that's like the fuel that you're going on, is like, if you didn't have the chat, it doesn't really feel like you're live.
Exactly. Know? And and I have a lot of girls that are going through shit that be like, Lynwood, you help me with my depression. You're funny. I do cooking videos. Thank you for teaching me how to cook. I just got married. A little bit of everything, So, without the chat, I feel like I ain't really shit. Like, I don't have nothing to conversate about with them.
So financially, because I know TikTok's pretty hard to make money on. Oh, yeah. But then live streaming is pretty good on there too, right? Like, do you do the battles and stuff? People?
I do.
Okay.
They're draining, man.
It is.
Everybody drop, tap.
Somebody, the other day, or a couple months ago, I was talking to somebody about doing an interview, and they were basically like, you don't got to pay me, but I need you to go on TikTok and battle me.
I'm done.
And I was like, wow. And then never thought of that as being like a fair exchange. But I'm like, shit, if this guy goes on there and he makes, $1,000, or I have no idea how much he could make, but I'm like, I guess that does make sense. That's a lot better than me actually giving you money.
Yeah. People like it. People like, when I battle, I troll.
Okay.
I'm trolling with the other guy. The one guy's calling me like, shut up, you fucking fat bitch. That's why you look like this. And I'm like, oh yeah, like a little roasting game. And they like that. It's like comedy. So
if you do a battle, how long does it take on average?
4 minutes.
4? That's it?
4 minutes.
Oh, I thought
each battle is 4 minutes.
Okay. And even if I lose, I still get the money that people donated to me. Got it. It's just a contest of who gets more, basically. Okay. Yeah, I always see people like trashing people for doing it too. Like, there's a guy I know, Jason Nash, who's like a comedian, and he does it. And I've seen like whole YouTube videos basically just dragging him, talking about him like he's the biggest loser for doing it. And I'm like, well, shit, man. Like, got to make some bread.
Hey, you guys too, man.
What's the most you ever think you made from one battle?
On one battle, like a long time ago when I barely started, I was really, really popping. I was fresh. I made probably 3,000 in 4 minutes.
What?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
But back then, that's when I had my main page. Everybody was down with me. Wow. And they've been taking my pages down. So it's hard to start all over.
But how big did you get your biggest page to before?
Well, it wasn't not that big, but it was big for me. 140 something K.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's a good amount of people.
How many times have you been deleted?
Like 18, 20 times. Like, really? They've taken down my pages. Yeah.
And what do you keep getting deleted for? You think it's just people just coming together to mass report you?
Yeah. Okay. It's like little people that don't like me, groups of people. Because
it's not like you're actually breaking terms of service or anything?
Probably. Sometimes they'll be like, oh, you fucking fat bitch. I don't give a fuck, bitch. Fuck you and your mama. And then, sometimes it just happens and boom, you're banned. Yeah. And I'm like, I can't make my bread.
Yeah, TikTok is such a scary place because, like, I remember doing those. Like, I would go live. I haven't done it in years, but I would go live and just mess around with it, and it's fun because it's like you really have no idea how many viewers you're gonna get. Yeah. It's just so like if I go on Instagram Live, which I've been banned for like a year, like if I go on there, I just kind of know the number that I'm gonna get. Whereas with TikTok, it's like I'll have like 500, and then it'll be 3,000, and then it'll kind of drop down to 1,000, and then if I stay on, then all of a sudden it'll be 3,000 again. It's just so weird, like how it'll just decide when to recommend you.
But because you have a name, you have a platform, you're up there, you know. So as soon as you go on, they're like, Adam, we want to see what he got going on. So you'll have a good amount of people. Yeah. So if you're kind of known, your numbers are up. Like if I have 500, I'm like, I'm doing bad. Yeah. Like if I go back to my 2,000, 2,800, like I'll be like, okay, I'm still there.
Yeah, that is such a shitty feeling when you're live streaming and you're like thinking about how many people are watching you. But that's the difference between YouTube. If I go live on YouTube, I know that like 100% of the people watching are like people who are already familiar with me. They already watch some of this content. They're just like, they're in the know. They know who I am. Yeah. If I go on TikTok, it's like I'm just being introduced to shitloads of new people over and over, but then I am kind of recognizable. So it does feel like a really, really good thing for growth. Like
it is.
I probably should put more time into it.
You should. And okay, so not only does it work by battling, it works by if you have 10K followers, you can start getting monetized for your videos. 1 minute videos. If you go over, I think, 80K views, you start getting paid.
Okay. So how good is that for you? Is that like your main thing at this point, is just TikTok in general?
Yeah, I just go live and I'll battle and stuff like that. But my videos.
But then your actual videos make money as well?
Well, and my page is only 80K right now. So it's like people are barely like engaging. So my numbers are going up little by little, you know? People think, oh, Lynn was a baller and I'm not a fucking baller. You know, I know I look good, motherfuckers, but nah.
Because you'll get like 1 million views on a TikTok and make what, like $100 or $50 or some shit like that?
Okay, so you could have 1.4 million views, but TikTok is going to say, oh, we're going to only credit you for the $500,000, and you'll probably make like what, like 1,000.
Oh, really? $1,000? That's pretty decent.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can make up to 200 per video. They fucking choose what was qualified, you know?
Okay, yeah.
So it's been kind of weird.
Because like, another thing, TikTok just feels like such a jail. Because when I would go on live, like somebody would ask a question, or on the battle thing, somebody would start talking shit about the porn stuff or whatever, or they would ask me a question about the porn stuff, and I'll just start answering it, and then I'll see people in the comments like, don't say porn, don't say porn. Like,
oh yeah, you can say
if you say porn, if you say penis, if you say vagina, any of these words, these are all like gonna get you blocked.
Say corn.
Yeah, exactly. And that makes it like very strange to think about like how I'm going to talk about anything when I can't really like say the words that are actually appearing in my brain and it's like censor them in real time. Yeah.
It's difficult in the beginning, but then you start, you know, you get immune to it and you get used to it. You already know your codes and shit.
Yeah. Well, we do it on YouTube even a little bit. Like I notice people on the podcast will say delete or unalive, or they'll say like, oh, this guy is a grapist or whatever. People are doing it who don't even have a reason to do it, because it's like, you're on my podcast. Like if I'm going to censor shit out, we get everything ready before we go live or whatever. But like people just do it because they're just used to saying it, which is kind of a bizarre new world too.
Yeah.
When did you start actually doing podcasts? Was it like the stuff with Compa? Was that the first shit?
Oh, yes, that was a nightmare. Nah. Yeah, it was with him. That was my actual like collab with somebody, like a co-host.
So he just reached out to you and said, hey, I'm looking for a co-host?
So the way I ran into him was Fools Gone Wild.
Right.
Was, you know, they're Compa Radio and them talk there because they were on live together, and he's like, I'm looking for a torta. So I guess he was like, well, Lynwood, you know, she's out there, she's popping, she's the torta. Because obviously they're going to look for somebody that's popping, you know? Get that torta. So he's like, come down to my restaurant. You ain't down. He came on my live. I put him on my screen. You ain't down. I was like, I'm down for. I'll roll up. What's your address? I went over there, met him, kicked it with him. And the podcast didn't start till like probably later on. And he told me about it. And I said, I'm down with it. And that's how we started doing podcasts. And it was good in the beginning because we were actually interviewing people. And
that is one thing. You can interview people. As soon as you have to really talk to each other, that's like a different level of stress.
It can be, but I'm very open, but it's like you sit here and you're fucking calling me, oh, you fucking fat bitch, and or like trying to like humiliate me and use me just to bring your fucking numbers up so people collab. I'm not a fucking clown. Right. I can troll with you, I can fuck around with you if we're both playing, but for me to sit here and disrespect you, I take it like to a whole different level. Like, nah, for now you're using me as your fucking clown, and that's what the fuck I'm not. Because
I saw the argument that you guys had that you filmed in American Cholo's studio. And yeah, like how long had you been doing podcasts before that took place? That episode?
I think we only had like 6 episodes with him, you know?
But where did that come from? Because yeah, and this is something that we had given him a hard time about too, is that it's like, oh, okay, you've been sober for like a couple weeks or whatever, and now you're kind of talking about other people who do drugs and get fucked up as if you're so above them. Where it felt like that was kind of what he was doing with you. And then you're like, bro, like you're inviting me on benders.
All the time.
So what are you fucking trying to act all high and mighty about?
Well, Trip out. This is why we stopped doing podcasts, okay? Okay. This is where you come in. Oh. We were doing podcasts. Everything was good. He's always like, hey, I'm trying to grow with you. We can go far. And I said, I'm down with whatever you're down with. You're the one with all of this. What is this called? Like the whole
recording equipment.
Yeah, the whole recording setup. Yeah. I'm down. We're going to come up. I'm going to bring you along with me. I'm going to go to Adams. And I said, cool, dog, go. I'm not a fucking hater, you know, do your thing. But he completely dropped me. Was I butthurt? No, I just said, fuck it.
He dropped you to just start going on No Jumper.
Because I guess he tried to be part of your team.
Yeah.
And I get it. Everybody's trying to level up. And he stopped. It didn't work out with you. So here he goes. Hey, Lynwood, you want to start a podcast, I guess? And I said, fuck it, let's do it. Excuse me, but I noticed that this podcast was a little bit different. I felt like he brought this other guy. That's his little fucking, I don't know.
Oh, I seen you violating that fool.
Like, he got me fucked up. Like, I don't know if he's sucking his little pee-pee, that's his girlfriend or what. Okay. But we're not going to tag team, dog, because I got a mouth too. Well, you want to talk, let's talk.
Right.
You know, but yeah, going back to that day, I felt like it was very disrespectful. He called me a fucking drunk. He went to my house. We did a skit before the podcast. And I did a skit with Tony Directs. I'm working with this other guy. And he calls me because I'm on live. And he calls me. He's like, oh, but if it was me, you just leave me there like I ain't shit, huh? But you want to walk homeboy downstairs, all the way downstairs. What? Fool, how old are we, dog? This motherfucker has equipment in his hand, bags. I'm going to help him out downstairs. Uh-huh. So he was already bitching about, oh, you're drinking because he's sobering up. He's sobering up, you know?
Right.
And when I got to the podcast, I only took one beer, and he counted my beers. You already had 3 beers. Uh-huh. Damn, fool, you act like you bought the motherfuckers.
Right.
So I just felt the disrespect, and I already had told him. I kept my composure. You seen. Yeah. I could be professional.
You were trying to hold it together, for sure, yeah.
I was like, because I'm trying to change certain ways about me, you know? Uh-huh. And he kept on going. I forgot what exactly he said. I said, you know what? I'm gone, dog. Yeah. Oh, she'll come back. Nah, dog. Like, I could come back. I came back once, but not no more. I'm done with him.
Really?
He's disrespectful. Like, I'm not doing that shit. Calling me. And now he's going on other podcasts. Oh, Lynwood. Why still bring me up? What the fuck is your whole point, dog? I'm not going back to collab with you.
Right.
You talk about me and then you be like, oh, I love you, Lynwood. Like, fool, you're a fucking weenie, dog. You sound like a bitch. I don't like that.
Yeah, I mean, he has, we did like a news episode recently and stuff. And it's like, you know, I still have love for the dude. But yeah, I mean, he's very all over the place. And he's definitely one of the most like vagabond ass podcast hosts that I've seen. Oh, Ryder, yeah. But I mean, like he was trying to like do his own podcast with Swifty. Then he tries to do it with you. Then he's on No Jumper. He gets kicked off No Jumper. Now he's doing the food community thing. I mean, it is kind of.
And then you find out why really Swifty didn't like me. And I was like, fool, I had to ask him like, well, what was the problem? Because I've never had an issue with
Swifty didn't like you.
Yeah.
But was Compa saying shit about you to him? Or
not really, but he said, he's like, I was really mad because Compa dropped me for you. But, you know, that's not my problem. That's Compa, you know, and I'm going to take anything that's going to feed my kids. Like, well, not anything, but, you know, something that's cool that I could be on a platform and talk.
Right.
But I ended up walking away, and I left it like that. And he tried to apologize, and over and over, Lynwood, let's do it. He had people call me. He had his homeboy call me. No. Right in front of like this big platform. No, Compa, we're not working again. No, it's not going to happen.
I mean, I feel like if you're going to do a podcast with somebody, yes, you can take issue with them. Yes, you're going to have to as time goes on.
Of course.
You're going to have to argue. You're going to have to get into your issues with each other, why this person is making you happy or sad, etc. But there just needs to be like a foundation of respect, I think. And that's my main thing is like, if he has an issue with you, if he thinks that you're overweight, or he thinks that you're drinking too much, or that you get fucked up or whatever, it's like, I mean, I feel like, you know, I do podcasts all the time with dudes who have drug problems and who are overweight and shit. Like, what the fuck is that my business? Like,
I was working with him when he was all coked out, and I never fucking said shit.
Yeah, right. And it's like, okay, congratulations, Compa. You are in pretty good shape. Like, you probably work out, or you have decent genetics or whatever. But like, who the fuck cares? Like, how is it any of my business if I sit there and talk to you on camera? How is it my business what physical shape you're in?
Yeah.
What does that have anything to do with anything?
Like, tell me that shit on the side. Hey, fool, let's go to the gym. Fool.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, if you're really concerned about them and you think they're gonna fucking drop dead, then yeah, let's have that conversation off camera. It's like the number one conversation I can imagine you should probably have off camera.
You know what I mean? And I don't mind if he said it on camera. Hey, you know what? Let's do content. He said it so many times, but never did shit about it. Hey, we're gonna do content. Okay, let's do it. Let's do the gym. A fat bitch fool. I haven't been in the gym in a long time. Me going up the stairs, I'm already like, so it would have been funny content. Like, look at Lynn where she could barely hang on the treadmill. It would have been good content. But when you sit there and you lie about me that I didn't want to go to the gym and this and that I don't want to stop drinking, that now you're lying, dog.
Right.
Now you're bullshitting just for the camera to get numbers and clout.
Yeah.
But So yeah, that's what happened with him.
It's crazy that he's probably going to like do a whole thing responding to this too. That we're just like laying up the content for him by discussing his bad behavior.
And he's been on other platforms talking about me, and I kept quiet. And I'm like, I know Adam's going to bring it up. Okay, we'll talk about
I wish I was still in Compa hate mode, because then this will probably be more. I'm like, even like when we sat down on the news, like I kind of couldn't even remember why I was mad at him in the first place. And we had way bigger shit to discuss, because I think that this was when Suspects got into his situation or whatever. But like when I'm sitting down with Compa, I'm like, I don't even know what to say. Like, I don't even know. Like, I can't even remember. And then they reminded me of like, oh, like he kind of said "F you" at some point after we kind of stopped having him on the podcast. I'm like, okay, yeah, right. That sounds about right.
Yeah. I don't live hate with my heart. I don't hate him. I don't dislike him. I just don't want to work with him. I don't live with hate in my heart.
Right. So
I'm cool.
He would invite you on benders, and I
will go with him. Let's go drink. Hell yeah, I like to drink.
But you would just drink. You guys never did like hard drugs together?
No, we would drink together.
Okay.
And we would get fucked up. The last time we got fucked up till like 6 a.m. Drinking. No, don't leave. Let's kick it. Okay, fuck it, let's kick it. I don't really go out, and when I do, I go have fun, But for him to like make it seem like I'm this drunk and this bad person, like, fool, we both used to get drunk, and your homeboy.
Right.
And at your place.
Yeah.
But it's not a bad thing when he's promoting the motherfucking alcohol for his business, because when you really against liquor, you go against it all the way.
Right.
Don't sell it. Don't promote your weed. Don't promote substance.
Right.
I respect you even more. Like, hey, you know what? I respect you, dog. But he's just been talking about me, and he made another podcast and shit just recently bringing me up.
Really?
Lame.
Just randomly talking about. I think I've seen that clip of the food community thing talking about you or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
He did another one with Jenny 69 recently.
Right.
You
cool
like,
with her?
I don't have nothing against her. I guess she's just mad because I talk to Pinks. We're not friends. I just know people through social media.
Pinks, for the people out there, I'm just going to show you how I'm a professor of the Rasa community. Pinks is the girl who at one point jumped Jenny 69 because she rapped over a South Park Mexican beat.
Yeah, and I didn't even know none of that. I learned all of that throughout everything,
Right, okay.
But it was never no shade, through her. But I seen her interview too. We're like, fool, that shit is old as fuck, and y'all still talking about that shit? Y'all don't got new content to talk about? Like, that shit was old and had nothing to do with me. Now I'm all over social media. Now people think that I jumped her. Now the lies that she said that me and her, we were really close. When the fuck were we close? Because you just invited me when it was your shows,
Right.
Oh, she used to come to my house. I used to go to hers. I only been at her house once, and she only been at my house once. So that I'm gonna clear that shit up. We were never close. I respected her. Hey man, get it, girl, get it. Even though people didn't fuck with your music, I was still like, do your thing, man. There's gonna be one hit one day,
You didn't f with Soy La 69.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay.
I like what it said. I like the lyrics. Maybe, I get it. She's just starting. Her voice is probably not what people expect. But hey, the lyrics are dope. She's doing shit for her kids. She's trying to level up. But don't fucking lie there just to because now you want to be back in the fucking trend and be known and, oh, Lynwood, and for Compa to ask her that, like, oh, why did you guys fall out? Fool. We used to talk and you asked me personally what happened, and I told you just want to bring it for content now to make me look bad.
There's just too much content going on in general. There's just too many podcasts and they don't have that much shit to talk about. And it's like, I think back to the internet in even like 2020 or before that, where it's like, if two people had issues, this was so interesting to people that like everybody would just pay attention to it, even if they didn't really give a fuck or know that much about the people involved. But now it's like, everybody's just beefing all the time, and the world in general has kind of checked out on like a huge percentage of it. So it's kind of like people are sort of fighting online and beefing and stirring up drama with each other for views, but then it like very rarely produces the kind of views that they actually like want to get, because people are just kind of checked out unless shit feels like super real.
And you know what? When you're just popping and you get views, you're just popping. You don't even got to fucking try.
Yeah.
That's true. But I just feel like Compa does a lot of shit to try to be relevant and keep on bringing my name up with her. I know she didn't say nothing bad, but she did lie about that shit. We were not close like that. We did respect each other. You know, we would never be on a phone call. I don't think we were homegirls like that. We were just like, hey, you want to come to my show? And that's how people collab. Oh, Lynn was going to be there with her. People like that shit. People like seeing other people collab with other creators.
Right.
And I'm down with that. More exposure. People like us. Well, how can we do to grow, make it better? But for fucking drama and shit like that and still talking about bullshit, I don't, it just, I get all the hate all the time. Well, now they're saying that I'm jealous of her. I ain't jealous of her. I could go get me a motherfucking BBL if I want to. I could. There's motherfucking doctors that be like, hey, promo for a BBL, I'll be their model, but fuck that, I'm scared.
Right.
You know, but yeah, that's the shit with Compa, you know?
Yeah, no, he's a maniac, that guy. Yeah, he's out of control. But you think Jenny 6ix9ine got piped out by Lefty Gunplay?
No, but I think she about to now. I don't know.
Because that was a weird one to me too, is that she, like the clip on Instagram, I didn't even watch it, honestly. It was like Jenny responds to Adam 22 saying that she Lefty Gunplay. And I'm like, I was sitting right here saying that you didn't f him. Lush was the one who swears on the fucking Bible that he knows people who are in the studio that saw them hook up and saying that her man walked in, etc. I know they're getting divorced now, whatever. I'm like, how am I getting this fake narrative put on me when I tried to stand up for you and I said that I didn't think that was something you would actually do?
Yeah. One thing I am going to say, I don't believe everything I hear because people make up lies. You know, they made up lies about you, me. So I don't believe everything I hear, but yeah, I don't know. Shit could happen.
Yeah.
I've cheated before. Oops. Nah.
Really? Oh, shit. Yeah.
Nah, shit happens, you know, but who knows?
You don't think you're a cheater for life? Like it's not just like ingrained in your soul that you're just going to keep doing this?
Nah, I won't keep doing it. I think I just cheated because I had my own reasons. He was doing his shit. I was doing my shit.
Yeah.
I felt like the love wasn't there no more.
Yeah.
So,
a lot of times cheating is like, that's just something you do on the way out of the relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that's like a sign, like we're wrapping this up.
Yeah.
So I'm going to kind of speed up the process because we all know like the hardest thing is going to your boyfriend or girlfriend and saying, hey, I don't love you anymore. I'm done. I don't give a f. It's over. Like that is a very hard conversation to have. Most people will instead kind of like self-implode their relationships so that like, oh, I cheated. Like you don't want to be with me anyway. No, look how I cheated.
You know what I said? I said, all right, you want to act like that? All right, cool. Watch, I'm going to be at the wagon wheel, motherfucker. And he's like, yeah. That's a motel there in Lynwood.
Yeah.
Yeah. You always say you're going to cheat on me and you never do it. All right. Checking out in the morning, 6, 7 a.m. I'm walking out like, you fucking hood rat.
Oh, what?
I'm like, who called me? And it's him. You fucking bitch. And he started chasing me. I was running like a chicken without a head. and that's how he found out. And he forgave me. And of course, he forgave me because he probably cheated too.
Right. Yeah.
You know? But then that was the end of it. Now he's in prison. He's out of my life. But yeah, and I'm single, just doing me.
Really? Are you dating or like, what's your thoughts on like being with somebody long term? You're done having kids?
I'm done having kids.
Okay.
Yeah. I just want to date. So, hello, I'm available, guys.
Gentlemen, start your engines. Drop your Riz in the comment section. Yeah.
Yes.
For sure. What kind of guys are you into?
For sure, I don't want to date gangsters no more. I want to date casual guys that shit that got their own shit going on.
But you like a guy who understands the streets or understands gangster shit, even if they're not taking part?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean? Somebody that's open-minded to shit. Like, oh, okay, that was her past. It's cool.
I feel like you couldn't be with like a real true square.
No. I think I can be. I think I could.
I feel like so much of your life, you kind of like, you know, you need to know about drugs. You need to know about the streets. You need to know about violence, even if you're not taking part. Or no.
No, I don't sit there and talk about that shit unless we're on podcasts and people ask me things, I'll talk about it, or on the live. But on my normal daily life, no. I have square friends, you know, and it feels good to be in a whole different level. Not that I forgot where I came from, because I will never. I know where I come from, and I still have homegirls that around and shit like that. But I also like that other side, like going out, having a nice fucking dinner at a nice restaurant, being civil and just having a normal fucking conversation.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with somebody who knows absolutely nothing about street stuff or anything that goes on with hood type stuff. Like the other day, she heard me on the phone with 4 extras and we're talking about him allegedly putting a carrot up his op's ass after knocking him out. I don't know if you know about this, but you know, it's like, to me, I'm just laughing about it. I'm just like, bruh, I know you did that shit. You did the carrot. And then I hang up and I just realize that my girl is just like not feeling it. And she's like, she's just kind of like, that is so disgusting and cruel and fucked up. And I'm like, oh yeah, right. It
and
is.
then you brought out the carrot plate.
Yeah. And I like told her about that. I'm like all proud of myself. Like, yeah, I had the guys go get carrots and I gave them the carrots. And she's
that's
like,
funny though. That's
she's
funny.
just kind of like, what the is wrong with you?
Yeah, that's dope though. That's what makes your podcast dope, because like you fuck around, people know how you are. You know, you got the bad people that don't like you, and then you got the motherfuckers that understand you. You know,
I don't even know who on my team had the bright idea to use like the glass breaking sound effect. When the carrots got knocked off of the table, it sounds like there's glass breaking, and I don't know. Nobody asked me if they could do that. They just did it, which I was kind of surprised by.
That's dope.
But okay, so yeah, okay. What are your, what kind of music do you listen to? That's an important question. I'm curious.
Really, to everything. I listen to everything. Rap, paisa. You know, I'm more of a Spanish music, like corridos and stuff like that.
Okay.
But I do listen to rap.
Okay. That's more your speed.
Yeah.
What are your favorite LA Hispanic rappers?
You know what? I don't really listen to a lot of Chicano rap. Okay. But I don't know. I grew up with Little Rob. I like Little Rob. That's
shout out Little Rob.
Yeah, shout out to him. But I don't really listen to a lot of Chicano rap. Okay. Some of Swifty's shit is dope. Okay. Yeah, but
Letter to My Ops or whatever. That was his series. Letter to My Ops.
Yeah, I don't really know much about rappers. I know my son does, and he puts all kind of new fucking rappers. He's like, oh, this is. I'm like, who you listening to? Oh, it's a new rapper. Like, woo, woo, woo. I'm like, oh, okay. He puts me up into like new rap music.
You tell your son you were coming on No Jumper?
I did.
What did he say?
He said, all right. He's like, just don't go drinking on the live. He like, because he watches you. He like, just be ready for any question comes your way. I said, all right.
Somebody told me, they're like, yo, you need to pour up some alcohol with her. But then I was like watching your shit and I'm kind of like feeling the struggle. And I'm like, I don't want to like just be pouring up alcohol when it feels like she's kind of in a little bit of a battle with that, which I know like alcohol is probably not your like main enemy.
No, it's not. But it's not. And I know people screen record every time I get up, but that, and then they'll put it in one page, a whole page of me just being up, but it's not like that, you know?
Right. No, definitely. What like, okay, so what do you feel like you're working on? What are you building towards? What do you like really feel like you need to accomplish to make your life better?
So I'm working on a makeup brand.
Oh, nice.
So Lynlicious Beauty. I forgot to bring your wife the PR package.
Oh, let me know. I'll make her promote it.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring it next time. So this is my product.
Okay.
And that's what I'm wearing. Okay. So it's one of my top sellers, and I'm doing. I have mascaras, eyeliner. Well, everything basically on my face is my brand. I don't wear powder and none of that. But yeah, so that's what I'm working on, and I'm building it. I've been working on that since October, and it's been going pretty good. And other girls like it. They've been sharing it, so that's been a top seller.
That's dope.
So now I'm working on some toys, like pleasure toys. So
really?
I'm bringing out some roses. It's going to be called Ling Nasty Productions. And I'm going to bring toys, oils, you know, shit that I've experienced, and just telling girls, try this shit, girl. Because there's some girls that be like, I don't want to do it. Bitch, do it. You need to bust a nut, bitch, at least twice a week.
Wow. So you think that's a problem in the Hispanic community, that the women are not in tune with how to make themselves orgasm?
Yes, and I was one of them, because I never used toys, but my viewers were like, use it, Lynwood, you'll feel better, the stress will come out. Really? So one time I went and I bought one, and I'm like, okay, what do I do with this shit? And I'm like, okay.
I've always felt like if a woman doesn't masturbate, or like throughout my life, I've had like a lot of girls tell me like, oh, I've never orgasmed, or I've never masturbated. I'm like, that does not seem good. That doesn't seem like a sign of you being healthy upstairs. Like most of the girls that I know who say that shit to me also seem unwell in various other ways. Yeah,
no, I've done it, but not with toys.
Right. Okay.
So when I tried it, I was like, man, I need to encourage these bitches. And some girls were like, I want to go buy one, Lynwood. It's like, you weren't lying. Right. Like, bitch, that's all you need. You don't need to be having a sweaty motherfucker on you, telling them up. Okay, I want it like this. Bitch, just busting up real quick, and that's it. Right. And when the right man comes along, then he'll come along.
But have you considered, I believe that women using toys to masturbate is a gateway drug. Because, and this, I'll just give one example, is that the girl that I dated all through high school, I used to be able to make her orgasm from literally just like flicking the outside of her underwear in class or whatever, you know, like nothing. We break up for a couple of years, or we're not around each other for a couple of years. We end up hooking up again. And during that time period, she gets into using like a vibrator or whatever. And as soon as we started hooking up again, I just could tell the difference of like, oh, you've like numbed yourself to being able to get off to like a, you know, natural stimulus. Like now you need this fucking vibrating thing. And I do feel like it's kind of like a risk for women, because then they might not be able to orgasm from sex as a result of using too many toys.
As it is, it's already hard for a woman to have an orgasm with a man, right? But I can agree with you. I know girls that be like, oh, I don't need a man on my chat. I have my toy. But I'm like, you know I used it and stuff like that, but I'm like, I still want a man. You feel me? I still want a man. Like I want him to feel me. Like,
yeah, there's more to sex than the actual feeling of orgasming, or there's more to a relationship in general.
Exactly.
For sure.
Yeah. So I'm working on that. So I have Lynlicious Beauty and Lynn Nasty Production. So let's see how that's gonna go, and that's what I'm trying to grow. And another thing I'm working on is like getting a house. I want to buy a house. That's my goal. Just to get a house with my kids. And
renting just feels kind of oppressive at a certain point, because you're just dealing with bullshit and you don't feel like it's yours.
That, and it's because it's like through low income, so it's like a constant like, who lives with you? What's your income? You can't go over this income. You know what I mean? Like they come in and inspect your house once a year. You broke this. Like, I'm a fucking baby. I'm tired of that shit. Really? And I know I'm capable of doing more. So that's why I'm trying to like switch my not my content, but I'm trying to do like skits now. I don't know if you heard of Tony Directs. Tony Directs? No. Okay, so he does a lot of skits with a lot of influencers. He came out in a movie, or I think a show with George Lopez. Anyway, he started doing that, and he was like, hey, I'm Tony Directs. Would you like to do a skit with me? And I'm like, how the fuck you do that shit? Like, that's already playing like.
Because you always just acted like yourself. You never did anything that was acting. Okay. So
I did it, and it hit numbers, and that's what we've been doing. We actually did some content yesterday, and I've been doing that. So he's like, you got potential, and I need motherfuckers on my team that are gonna fucking tell me I could do better, do skits with your kids, do this so you can grow, go to YouTube, do this. And that's what I'm trying to do with my kids now. So when the kids go on vacation on the 17th, I'm gonna start vlogging a fucking day with my kids on vacation. You know, anything. People like to watch anything that I do. Even when I shower, they watch me.
You gotta be careful though. How do you do that on TikTok?
I just hold the phone and I'm talking like therapy. Okay. Like, I'll just be funny. Like, for all you dirty bitches that don't know how to wash your hair, you do this. You know, I just talk shit on there, and they like that. They like to laugh. But that's what I'm trying to work on my platform now, doing skits with my kid, because that for sure hits good on YouTube. And you know, kids recognize me, so I'm trying to like watch how I say things now.
You know what you should do?
What?
You should be the Rasa's answer to Miss Rachel. You know Miss Rachel?
Miss Rachel,
she's like a children's YouTuber, and she's just very like, you know, like if I showed you one of her videos, she's just singing songs and like just talking to the kids, like right into the camera. Like, I feel like I could kind of see you doing that. Like, I'm just really like just making kids content. It's got to be like a big business available there, because you could really speak authentically to, you know, Mexican kids in particular, I think.
Yeah. I never thought of that. Like, kids, like in what age range? Like 8, 9, 10? Or
no,
like...
I'm talking like little kids, like, you know, 3-year-olds who need their ABCs sung to them and shit like that. I don't know how that stuff pays, because I know that like you can't do ads to little kids anymore. Or like if the content is for small children, they can't have tracking on, so the ads don't pay as much or something like that. But I don't know. I mean, like, you see Miss Rachel's videos, is like 100 million views on this shit. Yeah, your kids are too old now that you probably don't know, because she only came out a couple of years ago. I
think that me and my kids were funny together. We're always trolling, clowning, trying shit, or we might, even on live, we could be cooking and then my son just comes like with whipped cream and throw it in my face. You know, they like to see shit like that. So I think that we're just going to be vlogging shit like that, our a day of shopping with Gilbert. You know, like, what is your young kid like? You know, maybe other mothers be like, shit, I want to do that with my kid. I don't know. I think that that's what I can do on YouTube, but I'm going to switch it up. We're going to see new shit coming, you know?
For sure.
But yeah, before you go to the next, Lynlicious Beauty, guys, hit me up on Lynlicious Beauty on Instagram for the makeup.
That way, for sure.
Thank you.
Where did the G thing part of your name come from?
Okay, so Lynwood is my city.
Yeah.
Okay, so G-Thang came because I was really fucking with it back then. Like, I'm gangster with it, G-Thang. I'm the thing. I'm the G-Thang, you know?
Yeah.
I just added that.
Whenever I see it, it just makes me think about Easy saying, you know, you was the G thing, but on your old album cover, was the she thing, basically like making fun of Dr. Dre because he used to wear fucking nail polish and shit.
That's true,
Yeah, that's what always comes to mind for me. But in the G thing in general, like to you is just like, what does that mean?
Like gangster, like I'm the gangster thing, you know?
Got it. Okay.
Even though I was not from a hood, because let me make this shit clear. You don't gotta be from a hood to be with it or to be gangster with it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
100%.
I was just out there being a fool.
Definitely. Yeah. Okay. That was dope. It was good getting to talk to you. We should do some more content sometime.
Let's do it. I'm willing to work and let's do it.
We got you and Compa together again. Just kidding.
I don't know.
That's not my bright idea.
Well, you know what I mean? I don't mind. I won't work with him, but if you bring him here, like why not?
I guess I'm interested to see his response to our summary of his behavior, because to me it felt cruel and mean and weird, but I'm sure
it felt fake.
Yeah, like, but that's part of it too, is that okay, so then you guys started taking calls in the clip that I saw, and some of the calls are like, you know, high school age boys, from what I could tell, basically being like, I agree with you, like I think give her a hard time. It's like at a certain point, like dudes and girls doing content together on the internet just becomes like all the dudes backing up the dude and all the girls backing up the girl, and it's like the guy is kind of incentivized to like, oh, I'm gonna say some rude shit to the girl to try to get a reaction. I feel like, you know, in a lot of ways people end up kind of like poisoned by their fan base.
But then I'm pretty sure you heard my fan base when they called in. Hey man, that wasn't cool. I just took it disrespectful. We were not there for that. That's why I always tell him, what is our content? Are we gonna troll? Are we gonna talk about life or what? No, I already got everything written down. Just go with the flow. I'm not going with that fucking flow. I'm gonna walk out. And then you got the little fucking sucked up motherfucker next to him and shit.
I love seeing you violate that dude, even though I don't know who the hell he is.
You know what I mean? We were all cool, but I won't work with him again. Got you know? It. But
makes sense.
But yeah, let's do it.
Are these your kids' names right here in the red?
This is Destiny. That's my daughter's name, and this is Ambition.
Okay, that's dope.
I got Ambition now too.
What age do you get those done? Was that like a big decision?
I got this done when I got them removed in 2019.
Oh, okay.
I put her name on there.
Well, you had other stuff there before.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. It just says Destiny in this. Yeah.
So, but Ambition is your other kid's name? Or?
No. Ambition is just the thrive. I got Ambition right now to just work, move forward. You know. I
respect it for sure.
That's my biggest thing. I'm doing this to get a house for my kids.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's dope. Because I'm gonna be real with you, like. There's like always like a consistent argument going on online about like owning versus renting, and like DJ Vlad is like very anti owning a house. Like his opinion, or a lot of other people that I watch, their opinion is basically like, if you have enough money to buy a house, you'd be better off putting that money into other investments and then just renting a house. And like I've owned a house for 6 years, and and owning this place too, it's just there's so much bullshit that you have to deal with that, like, in my mind, if I didn't have a family all of a sudden, or if I was just like living on my own solo, I would probably never buy a house again. I would probably just always rent, which would be problematic because, you know, me being kind of well-known, renting would probably be very weird. But like in general, like, I don't know, I'm looking at it like, because I grew up with my parents basically telling me like, if you don't buy a house, if you don't own a house, you're like nothing. Like that is what your life is about. You get older, you buy a house, you settle down, have a family, and if you don't do that, then you're kind of a piece of shit. But as I get older and I actually own a house, I'm like, I don't know if I agree with that, because like owning an apartment or not owning, but like renting an apartment, they got a handyman. You call the handyman up, he comes and he just fixes the shit, and you don't even have to pay or whatever. Like that is so nice in comparison to just being on the hook for all these crazy bills that come about as soon as you own a house. So just something to think about is that, in my opinion, home ownership is a little overrated.
Shit, rent me your house then. Nah. No, I agree. That makes sense too, you know? But I'm just tired of neighbors always complaining. You get write-ups, you get notices. He could hear your footsteps. Like, fool, you should be fucking your bitch instead of hearing my fucking footsteps at fucking 11 at night. Oh, I could hear her battle. Like, fool, like, that's weird.
Yeah.
You're
You're naming things that I wouldn't have thought of as well. Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And I'm tired of that, you know?
Because like the last spot I lived in before we bought this house was like a pretty nice apartment like type thing. And realistically, like I never had to deal with any weird shit. Like everybody was kind of like well off and not on some weird shit. But then at the same time, like I had an apartment in Long Beach when I first moved here, and like the guys in the apartment right next to ours, like in the same building, were selling crack. And so every day the lawn in front of our house was just crackheads everywhere. And like if anybody called the cops, they just walk away as soon as the cops pull up. And it was just like, it was hell. Like it was just like insane living there until eventually they got rid of them. But stuff like that of just like, you have an apartment, you're liking it, and then all of a sudden some dudes move in next door and they just completely fucking ruin everything, you know?
Yeah. And I've thought about too, just renting. If I can't accomplish to purchase a house, because I know it comes with a lot, especially money wise. Like as long as I rent too, I just want a backyard for my dogs, my kids. You know. Yeah,
because we bought our house right before COVID, and that was a big thing of like, oh shit, like we would have been stuck in the fucking sweat box if we hadn't bought this house before that shit happened. Because then remember, housing prices went through the fucking roof right after COVID too. Yeah. For sure. Okay, it was great getting to talk to you, and I'm very interested to see what people think about this. And best wishes with everything, because it's dope. I like seeing somebody being able to kind of harness social media to elevate their situation and take themselves out of the bullshit that they were living with beforehand.
It's not easy. People expect for you to change from one day to another. Yeah, transition is big, especially when you come from really being in the streets. It takes time, you know. But I've accomplished a lot. And I still am.
No, 100%. Yeah, I'm proud of you. You're doing good. You're doing good.
Thank you.
Compa.
Motherfucker. You know where I'm at now.
All right. Lynwood, thank you very much. Everybody tap in with her content. Do you know what your TikTok username currently is?
Lynwood G thing.
There you go. Yeah. Okay. Tap in.
G thing.
For sure. No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. Like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate y'all.